The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another excellent edition of the Power Trading Hour. Me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host. As always, we love to come to you at this time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
And what do we have going on the market today? Well, we're down 34 points on the S&P cash at 2697.50. Dow 25,100 off 287. Nasdaq's down 107. The Russell's down 13 or 14. Strongest of the bunch, although it was giving the best signal that it was ready to turn down. Last month's webinar was about my sector oscillators, and the biggest thing was seeing that there was a part in those that I figured out over using them last year, where the chances of something greater than a 3 standard deviation in a move in the market was there. And we caught pretty much all the bat on that by going short yesterday and Monday on some things. So we got our positions in today. Only thing that didn't work was one position, which was based on higher rates. And that's because Janet Yellen's running around saying all the rates are going lower. While she has no ability to actually affect those rates, I think a lot of people think that maybe they just tell her to go out and tell people that as a quiet way to support the market or to just job on the market. But since she can't vote, I don't think she knows anything about rates. I suspect that we will see that narrative does not hold water over time. The S&P looks like it wants to go down about 2650. We're looking about 7,000 on the NASDAQ composite. So what does that give us? Another 2% down for the first level of support. Now, what we do have, if you ever listen to Tom O'Brien directly after this show on most of TFNN.com, in fact, all of it, is when you come off the tops with volume, especially when we've been hanging out at these highs with no volume, as we've been chronicling, how many stocks that did break highs couldn't hold those highs. We had a handful of stocks that did break out on volume. We'll look at Boeing just to see how it's doing, but almost all those stocks came right back into the trading range in a couple of days. It's been one of these where we've been very stretched to the upside, and now we break down lower to the downside. As we said last Thursday, one of the biggest indicators of a market that's topping out is an incredibly low put-call ratio for the VIX and equities. I think what we had was the VIX was lower than 50%. I kind of figure it a little differently than everybody else does, but they figure it so it can be 1 billion to 1. I figure it out so it's mostly, somewhere between 50% and 100% or something. I think that makes a lot more sense. The other way kind of exaggerates the moves in it too much, makes you think something's happening when it doesn't. Anyway, as I said, we had some days down there that were, well, for the last year, maybe historic kind of lows on markets. And when you're at highs and you see nobody able to short the market or no one thinking that they want to buy downside protection in the market, always a good signal that maybe the market could pull back a little bit. I'm not forecasting the end of the world. I just think that we have a decent pullback in the market coming. That takes us back down to about 2650 on the S&P cash and probably 7,000 on the NASDAQ composite. I can't tell what it's going to be in the NASDAQ 100. still way too weighted to a handful of stocks, and that can put quite the change in the NASDAQ itself. But we'll look at the general market to see where the best time to get out on our individual positions are. Anyway, we got a couple doing real good today, so feeling good, Billy Ray. So we'll keep an eye on it. Now, I've got some stocks that I want to buy when we get down there, so we'll be keeping an eye on that. But had a fairly good example this morning. I had something that worked incredibly well at the bottom of the sector oscillators. It was very tough for me to figure out at the highs for it to give me a signal that I could act on. We've got that down. I want to thank Basil Chapman for talking with me ad nauseum over the last year as I developed it. He's got a couple of things he's working on too. So we'll see if he comes up with anything. But he's been working on things. I've been working on things. Anyway, he's been nice enough to give me a second eyeball on all this stuff. And kind of like it. Anyway, we stayed out of being short too early. Pretty much got right on the ball with a couple of these positions. Again, and I had two. I got out of one of them today because Janet Yellen yakking, but I don't know. Lost a dime on an $80 ETF. I don't think I'm going to even worry about that. I'm going to look for the stocks that were weakest today and others that just haven't rolled maybe in that sector that are going to follow them down. We'll add some more short positions as I can find some. Anyway, again, massive volume. I'm going to go say 900 million shares above what we were at this time yesterday. So fairly extensive downside volume already in the bag today. Again, you know, we've got the Fed kind of moving. A narrative out here that a trade deal is just going to be pulled out of someone's rear end any minute. I don't know who started the idea that the trade deal was coming any minute, any minute. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? It's going to take another year. I don't know what everybody's getting all haggard about. My guess, though, is that we'll have probably another delay on more tariffs. A lot of this pullback that we've had, and including through just the last couple of months of fall, was a lot of people trying to get everything shipped before the possibility of tariffs hit. Now we don't have those tariffs hit. So all that production and all that buying and selling kind of front loaded. Now we're kind of pulling back. Now everybody's still starting up the same thing that any minute we could have a massive trade deal and everything's going to the moon. Well, it ain't going to happen. There's a lot of people, especially people in the State Department, whose entire life is either derailing things or slowing them down to the absolute possible crawl. No one wants to get anything done. That's the business of government. So it's going to take a little time to get started. When we come back, we'll get a little bit of history, and then we'll get into some earnings movements out there. And we'll look at a few of the stocks that we've been looking at last few days and see how they've done.
The TAS Profile Scanner is the most revolutionary piece of trading software that you will ever try. Wouldn't you like to approach the markets with confidence? As you begin your trading day, it's likely that you'll be faced with lots of decisions. In order to make the best decision, the first thing you'll need is a strategy that will help you minimize your risks. Whether we're in a bull or bear market, a good strategy is to have the tools needed to help you scan and analyze the markets before you trade. The TAS Profile Scanner instantly scans and filters over 2,500 global financial markets, such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Headed by Steve Dahl, president of TAS Market Profile, the TAS Profile Scanner understands that in today's technological world, the use of top-flight software applications, automated trading algorithms, and technical analysis expertise is essential to successful trading in today's market. Whether you're looking at the trade matrix, the ETF heat grid, the market breadth, the landscape charts, or the many other features of the TAS Profile Scanner, this is a piece of software that will revolutionize how you look at the markets and set up your trades. The team at TAS has even put together a 12-part video series to walk you through every aspect of the TAS Profile Scanner, which you can find directly on the TAS order page at TFNN.com. Sign up now for only $97 a month with a risk-free 30-day trial, so you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. See for yourself how you can harness the full power of the TAS Profile Scanner by visiting the front page of TFNN.com today, and you'll find the TAS Profile Scanner under the Services section. Remember, with a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to lose. Don't let another day pass you by without trying out this amazing piece of software that will revolutionize how you look at the market and how you place trades. Sign up today.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN has launched our brand new website. You can still visit us at the same TFNN.com URL, but when you do, you'll see a new and improved homepage with a much simpler navigation, whether you're watching Tiger TV live in high definition or just accessing your newsletter subscriptions. We even have new pricing in 6 months and yearly options. Check out the new TFNN.com now and experience all the upgrades. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
And I had a quick question in the email already about put call ratios, what I look at. And probably the best one is, for me, is looking at the VIX. And normally what you get, which is a day or two of extremely low readings, suggesting that no one wants to go short. Then you have a couple of days that bounce around, and then you get the day where everybody pounces on it. And generally, this is a couple of things. One, everybody gets bullish. A handful of days come by. The smart money, the Wall Street guys, decide to go ahead and start getting some downside protection, but the people are kind of euphoric, believing that the market can't turn around, and that's what they get clubbed. There's an old saying that nobody buys less than the retail public at the lows. Nobody buys more at the high than the retail buyer at the highs. Just seems like they can't get past buying highs and selling and avoiding lows if they're not already short. But you see the same thing. You see everybody going short at lows. So you want to see kind of the extremes, and the extremes lead for a handful of days. Then you go back down, and we'll go down here. We'll show it to you. This is what I was looking at today. Let me see if I can get down here. I wanted to show you this chart out of the newsletter this morning because I annotated it. But we had kind of, at least in my sector indicators, man, this thing, I hate that it pops to the top of the screen every time I resize Word. Anyway, there it is, so it's a little easier to see. But we had kind of a 3 drives to the top. It was very subtle if you looked at the S&P, but it was very plain if you looked at the sector oscillators. For those subscribers to the path of least resistance, I'm going to be adding the NASDAQ composite probably tomorrow or the next day. Depends on how much I get done tonight. Found a good area for that. One of the problems with, of course, the NASDAQ composite, the NASDAQ 100, always a little bit more volatile than you would like. So now that I'm going to do about 1,000 stocks in the composite, it should give probably a much better little screen out there. You can always subscribe to the path of least resistance at TFNN.com. Just go to the front page, and we got most of the wood on the ball today. I think we're going to get a great next series of trades here, because things are actually working very well, as they should, let me put it that way. And we're going to do a little history.
And it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 2003, after losing a chess match to Computer Deep Blue in 1997, world chess champion Garry Kasparov and the Computer Deep Blue Jr. battled to a draw. And, since then, we've, about 2008, the best poker player became a computer. 2009, somewhere in there. In 2016, 2017, it was the best computer player for the game Go, which may be the most difficult game in the world for humans, or that humans play, was beaten soundly. Machine learning, and I hate to say artificial intelligence, a lot of people call it that. There is nothing as artificial intelligence. All it does is put together a lot of patterns and figure out what those patterns mean. But machines will, and the techniques to actually use them, get better and better. One of the things that I loved, and we talked about in the webinar in January, was the advent of a lot of these packages now being put together. So not only can you actually look for the patterns, but you can actually see what the patterns mean by integrating not only machine learning, but statistical analysis in the same packages. And that's really probably the big difference over the next years is going to be for computerized trading outside the people that already can afford $500,000 a year salaries for people in machine learning, which has been the big thing. In fact, I mean, how many traders are actually at these big corporations anymore, like Goldman Sachs and stuff? It's about maybe 5%, 6% of what it was 15 years ago. Almost everything now is done by a handful of people with the help of computers. Very little done now by the individual trader at a big place like Goldman Sachs or all the rest of the Morgan Stanley folks. What else do we have going on out here? Well, that's about it. Let's go ahead and get into some earnings stocks. We'll do those earlies, and then we'll look at some of the other stocks out here that we've been talking about last few days. Alliance Data Systems did a nice little counter move to the up move and gave it all back. But again, energy was kind of light off this 142.58 low, and that's a symbol is ADS. BLBD, which is Bluebird Biotech. This thing has been all over the map today. Ran higher, gave it all up, pulled back to 1798. Somebody asked about Boeing. Now, it is down on a lighter volume, still a breakout candidate, but 396 is probably where this thing is going to find support. I still wouldn't short it. It still looks like probably the best stock in the market at the moment, a big cap stock anyway. Czar Voice, I don't know if you've heard of this one before, a little spinning hanging man out here, a little lower. It doesn't have much volume. I'm not going to spend much time on it. Cardinal Health was a gap up. It did so on some fairly decent volume. Energy is still low on this leg back up. CCK, which is, I think, Crown Holdings, excuse me, tried to break through the previous high, has all the volume in the world. Again, these stocks are not breaking, for the most part, they're not breaking above previous highs. A valid breakout is CMG. A lot of people short this going into earnings. I didn't understand that. They haven't killed anybody lately. And, of course, eventually Wall Street and the regular public kind of gives up on it. I don't think the stock's gotten any real better. Still probably worth 100 or 200 bucks less. But at this point, the market's thinking that they're back on track. I just don't think that track goes much higher, but that's personal opinion. And the market is telling me that I am wrong. But it is a valid breakout. CTRP, which is Trip.com, the Chinese travel site, down. Not much volume on it today, though. There's no real signals off that. Dunkin' Donuts, Gap down, did so with volume today. Going to go into the going to go into the 61.69 low of December 27th. You only had 800,000 shares. You got 2 million already today. So my guess is we're going to get into that, maybe even break it. You're going to watch that the next week. Another tick that almost hit my toe coming down is Fiat Chrysler down on volume today. And I think you could see a little bit of General Motors going higher yesterday and then giving it all up. Kind of drops it all. Anyway, we'll be back. We'll go through the rest of the earnings. I don't hear any. Oh, there we go. Finally, here's the music. We'll be back.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get 'em, folks.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And FireEye, basically fairly light energy off this last low at 1536, the December 24th low, actually fairly decent. Sector, this one has not performed well. I've made some money on this thing 2 or 3 times, but didn't play it on this one. Didn't like the setup. FTNT, which is Fortinet. We talked about this one, I think, yesterday or the day before. Just got up to the previous high. Didn't have any juice at this huge day down, which is, what is that? About 6 million shares on the 2nd of November. He got into it with less than 3 million shares yesterday. It's rolled over today. So you got a lot of these things that are that have more of a trading range setup. In this case, it's got a fairly decent low in from the December 24th low on light volume. But energy just never really came in. So now you got some bigger trading ranges in a lot of these. GoPro, man, they were pushing this thing up after the bell last night. No real difference today. Everybody knows that maybe this is a stock that won't be around in a year. Grubhub is the news with Tommy O'Brien at the top of the hour. Said it's been all over the place. You have gone through and busted the previous low that had 760,000 shares with 22 million today. So got a lot of moving pieces in that one. Not exactly sure what's going on. Haynes Celestial Group breaking through the last previous low, but popping back into the trading range. That's the December 28th low that had 2.3 million shares. You already have 8 million shares on that. Fairly down day for that one. What do we have? HBI, which is Haynes brand, a nice bounce, but only gets you back to this huge gap down of the 31st of July of last year. That had 12 million shares. You got 20 now, but again, you really are now going to go up against all that downside resistance. HQY, which is Health Equity. I think it's a bunch of ETF, REIT ETF on hospitals. I'd have to look into it, but I think that's what that is. Up on lighter volume, a little gap up, but I don't think it really changes anything long term. ICHR, which is Anchor Holdings, that's with an I, ICHOR. ICHR is a symbol on it, just a spinning top on that. Not much going on. The big winner of the day is iRobot. Got up and did exactly what everything else has been doing for the last week, for the most part, on earnings. You've gone up to the December 3rd high, 103.63. You did so on 1.2 million shares. You pierced it today with 2.66 million shares and gave it all up, right back into the trading range. You go. So I'd say, at least on odds basis, you'd be selling any pop on earnings right now. Only a handful of them actually held their earnings. Laboratory Corporation of America, which is LH for the symbol, was down massively on November 30th with 3.8 million shares. Into that today with 1.1 million shares so far. Not much going on that on its little pop on earnings. MCP, which is Marathon Petroleum Corporation, just rolled over from the open down. Volume's not all that exciting, but doesn't look good as we battle right here for 2,700 on the S&P cash. The Dow down 265, the NASDAQ down 100. Match Group, MTCH, going into its September 19th high, $58.95. They had 5 million shares. Had plenty of volume today. You already got 8 million shares. But spiked through that, reversed, and went lower. So again, there's kind of a theme out here for earnings that are even good. Handful of stocks like Chipotle or whatever it is that will hold their highs, but I'd say there's 5 or 10 for every one that hold their high that either pull right back in or just roll over almost instantly. NetEase on earnings down a little bit, but not much volume. Netgear, maker of routers, who I have a lot of, was down a little lower, kind of came back. This thing on the pre-announcement already gave it up back here on January 2nd. Invax, which is Novavax, NVAX, symbol on that, down a little. One of the ones that was down at the open this morning has gotten a little bit of that back is NXP Semiconductors. This thing actually giving you kind of a nasty signal now with, let me redo this here. Okay. Giving you kind of a nasty abandoned baby up to 94.64, that February 6th high. I just don't understand what the brouhaha is about it. Everybody talks about them like they're gold. I just haven't ever seen that this thing is really taken off the way that everybody told me it was. I go to stores. I don't see everybody paying with their phone. I still see the credit cards everywhere. O'Reilly Automotive, a little pop higher, but again, it's got all the volume of the world, but can't break through the November 14th high. That was 363.50 with 670,000 shares. Got into that today with double the volume already, and still can't hold that 363 high. Just went up there and went sideways. Philip Morris, a little pop out here on this one, but this looks like it's going to give it all up. RMR, which is, come on, just going sideways. SNA, which is Snap-on. I think the combination of lower sales and new car sales being lower over the last couple of days has hit them. Snap-on down significantly, giving about half back the bounce off the December 24th low, all in one swoop. Sono, which is a company we've talked with Tom O'Brien about, I never understood the idea of pushing this IPO out. The idea is that I guess somebody eventually is going to buy them, but I don't, other than cashing out and letting the people that were in the executive seats make a bunch of money, I never understood how that was going to translate to higher stock prices. But again, probably GoPro-like, just never had a good business model that would defeat Apple or Amazon or all the rest of the folks who want to control your living room with their own devices. And I want to say that Apple, Microsoft, and the rest all have a hand in it now. Amazon, of course, got all that stuff from Microsoft, and those guys have a deal. They're kind of frenemies at the moment, but that's not it. Spectrum Brands open gap lower, continued going lower to 46.82, not getting much of that back. Again, probably headed to this $40.54 low from December 26, giving it all up. We go at T-Mus, T-Mobile, and just a big spike out here. I don't know if you can make much on that. TSN, which is Tyson Food, down a little bit today. Volume is picking up. But just back to the gap up on the 18th of December. Anyway, we'll be back in a minute. Next segment, we'll finish up these earnings, and then we'll move to some of the stocks we've been looking at all week.
Hi, folks. This is Tom O'Brien. If you'd like to be the bank and get the type of interest they receive instead of the low interest rates they give to clients, then I have an investment you may want to take a look at. I'm offering 4-year secured first mortgages on buildable city lots in St. Petersburg, Florida. The investment can be anywhere from $30,000 to $75,000 per buildable city lot. The interest paid is 7% per year, paid monthly. Depending on the investment, the income per month per lot ranged from $175 for a $30,000 investment to $437.50 for a $75,000 investment. If you are in the CD market, you want to look at this investment. St. Petersburg is located in Pinellas County, which is the densest county in Florida. If you're looking for an investment with your principal intact that pays a good interest rate, this may be for you. The supply is limited, so act now. For more information on these secured first mortgage opportunities, you can call me at 877-518-9190. That's 877-518-9190.
If you haven't checked out the newsletters page of TFNN.com, what are you waiting for? All of the TFNN newsletters are informative, up-to-date, affordable, and a must-have for every trader looking to gain a competitive informational edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets to offer you the very latest in market news. Plus, new subscribers get to test drive our newsletters risk-free for 30 days. From all aspects of the markets, including stocks, bonds, metals, commodities, and tech, there's a newsletter to fit your needs exclusively from TFNN. Stay informed each day you trade and get that competitive edge that will help you stay ahead of the game. Visit our newsletters page by going to TFNN.com and click the newsletters button near the top of the page. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Will the S&P 500 continue to climb? For bold trades on U.S. large cap stocks in either direction, trade SPXL, SPUU, or SPXS. Directions Daily S&P 500 Bull and Bear Leveraged ETFs. Direction leveraged ETFs. An investor should carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risks, charges, and expenses before investing. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a fund's prospectus and summary prospectus, call 866-476-7523 or visit directioninvestments.com. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
And I got a question from John on how the market's going to close today. I suspect it closes probably right around in here. We got most of the action in. Got all the volume. Probably sell down a little bit. Man, at the high 2,700 on the S&P cash. At the low probably 2,690 on the cash. You know, this is probably going to take a little while, maybe a week or two to get out and down. So we'll keep an eye on it. But as far as I'm concerned, I think we've got selling for a while because everybody's put an artificial date on what's going to happen with the trade, and it's going to take a year. I think they're just disappointed if they think that anything with diplomats happens in any kind of time frame. Now, maybe Trump is different. Maybe he'll just tell them all to go back to their college days and actually maybe get a job where they actually have to turn a profit. Things have to happen. Come on, chop, chop. Let's get going. But, that's not the way government people work. They get a lot of money for slowing things down and stopping things because no one wants anything really to happen. Anyway, my ingratitude to government. But we were founded by people that knew government was evil. Doesn't everybody know that? To at least some part evil. What else do we have? Let's go back to some of these. Tyson's down a little bit on a spinning top, just back to the resistance level. Twitter, the true evil that Mr. Dorsey has brought upon a country, had one of the most ugly charts going into earnings. That was no energy off this December 24th low. It is down with 60 million shares today, and kind of a good idea, but they decided to just kind of tailor their product to narcissists, and that becomes a problem for me. Both Facebook and Twitter are both really bringing the worst of people out, I'm going to say. I don't think that there's a lot there. Facebook itself is facing more fines in the EU again today, coming out in the morning. It gapped down a little bit. I think everybody thinks that these guys will be able to go on forever, just kicking the can down the road because everybody loves them. But I think the EU in the very end is going to be the impotence for them coming to God about what they do and how they lie. And, they're going to get another $5 billion fine from Europe, same as Google. Eventually, those $5 billion fines are going to actually mean something to those guys, and they're going to change their ways. But, anyway, no real difference out here. Again, I wouldn't view these stocks any differently, as I said a month ago, than I would cigarette stocks, where you're actually being a negative influence on the customer that you have. And of course, their customers really are advertisers. Their product is you, and along with Facebook. But I'll get off my soapbox with that. Ubiquity Networks. Now, this company is probably going to do fairly good as 5G comes out. The chart does not look good at the moment, though. It's going to take a while for these to roll out. I think a lot of people got into these stocks a little too early. It's going to be a while, probably another 6 months, I think, before we really see the huge takeoff in 5G. This one was kind of pushed a little bit too hard, I think. Anyway, you got very light energy off the December 24th low. Not that bad out here. I would love for this thing to pull back to maybe around just under $100 on light volume. I think that may line up with the time frame that comes out. What else do we have going on out here? Viking Therapeutics, no real movement in that one. WER, a little bounce higher. Warner Electric. Let's go to some of the stocks we were talking about for yesterday and see. I'm trying to remember a handful of them. As we said yesterday, Zynga looked like it had hit its high, but it is gapping higher today. It had been going up there with light volume, bounced higher, got a little bit of energy in it. To yen, the ETF for China bulls had been banging against resistance levels, which is right in this $23 level. Got to 23.64. Just never really had any juice. 2 million shares on the 5th compared to a gap down that had a lot more. What was that? 3 million shares. 3.3 million shares back on the 4th of October. So you've been trying to get back through that level. It just failed again. Energy wasn't that bad on the way back up. See what else is out here. Target. Now that one, as we said, got up to resistance. It's down a little today, not bad on light volume. You're really going to need something to bust those things higher through the highs. Got another question about my forecast. I'm just saying that I'm probably going to sit on my hands until we see 2650, and then I'll reevaluate what the S&P is doing. Same thing on the NASDAQ composite. At 7,000, I'll see how the move was down, but I'm pretty sure we're going to get those numbers. Tenco, which is TEN, down. Not a lot of volume in that one today. TAP, Molson Brewers. I think earnings is on this one next week. It's probably going to hang out and be a little bit better than the rest of these stocks. But, of course, it's gotten up and tested its previous high with much lighter volume, almost half. So probably not much happening in that one. Splunk down today. Again, another one that has these highs, but no volume. 50% test of the high, the September 4th high of $130. Got to 131.43 with a half volume yesterday. Not much, 1.1 million shares. Today, you got 1 million shares already. You're going to break more volume than you did yesterday. A lot of these on these slow rolls, the volume takes a day or two or three to get in if they're really going to get some massive destruction. Sony gap down to the long-term support, which is right around $42.50. What else is going on out here? RCI Rent-A-Center. Rogers Communications, excuse me. I was thinking Rent-A-Center. Up against its high. We talked about this one in the December 4th high. This at 770,000 shares at 54.83. Got through it, but only got just slightly more than 50% of the volume on the 5th. Yesterday was down. Volume picked up down just a little bit. Today you got a doji out here with 212,000 shares. So maybe this thing, if that doji's the halfway move back, a buy would come in at about 52.50. What else do we have? I think in the next 7 to 10 days, when she was asking me about NASDAQ, the comp, I think we could be in the next handful of days at 2650. That's not much. That's like 50 points lower, 1 or 2 days maybe. The NASDAQ certainly looks like 7,000. But my guess is that we see those in through options expiration. We'll be back in a minute.
The universe provides us with opportunities all the time, and I was no different. In 2006, I invested $2,500 in a 2-day master trader course taught by Tom O'Brien, then ranked as the #1 market timer for gold. The fact is, if you want to be the best, you must learn from the best. Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability and the Market Timer of the Year for 2018. To celebrate this accomplishment, TFNN.com is offering you a free 2-week subscription to my award-winning newsletter service, and there's no charge to you until day 15 unless you cancel sooner. That's right, we're waiving the normal upfront deposit, and this offer is available to anyone and everyone, even if you've tried Mastering Probability before. Sign up now, and I'll teach you the tool that identified the bottom in the Dow on January 26th, the morning that led to the largest daily point gain in history. This offer will expire on February 10th, so go to the homepage of TFNN.com now and click on Mastering Probability.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today. Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And what else do we have going on here? We're just kind of floundering around. It'll be the last 30 minutes where everybody either blinks or does something, but my guess is we probably just hang out here for a while. Market's ready for a little bit of a pullback. We've got some fairly strong volume as we go into the last couple of minutes. We're already doing 5.4 billion shares, so only did a little less than 7 billion yesterday. Probably going to do in the range of 8 billion shares. So, some of these stocks actually have some fairly decent volume on the downside today. But my guess is that we're going to pull back to that 2650. If we got lighter volume there, then it'd probably be time to pick up and cover my short positions, and then we'll look and see whether or not there's a bounce coming out. But until we get there, I don't think it makes a lot of reason to start speculating about what it's going to do there. I can always wait and see what it does do there, and then make my decision there. If I got too much invested in a bullish or bearish position, then it makes it a little tougher to, flip the mind mentally and get it moving out here. What else do we have I wanted to look at? Did I get anything else? Someone asked me about Microsoft. Now, I still see it going back down to about 98 before you want to buy it. We had that little pop. I still think that you got that 98, the top of that gap, which is support from the 4th of January. This thing's kind of working its way back down to that level. And yeah, probably still a good buy at 98, 99, somewhere in there, right under 100. May even it may stop right at 100. Everybody's in love with it at the moment, but didn't do that well on earnings, so you can't tell. But yeah, I suspect that we could see it. It's only like $4 lower. It's no big deal. Doesn't change the long term of this, but I think they need a couple quarters before they go back and challenge that 113.42 high, which is the December 3rd high out there. I think they're doing well. They're still very well run. Probably still the best tech company out there with the best CEO. So just want to pull back like everything. In the meantime, sell when you can, not when you have to. And we will see you tomorrow.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.